Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're gonna be a very spicy person after watching this video. Favorite teacher gets wrongfully fired, so I get 3/4 of the staff arrested. I'll start off by saying this happened to my sister and the actions taken were hers. My sister has always gotten along very well with her teachers and has a habit of forming actual friendships with them, to the point that she still talks to her 5th grade English teacher, along with many others, decades later. This happened about 15 years ago. My sister was a student at Jobs Corps, a government-run, live-on-campus vocational training program, studying hotel and motel management. She got on extremely well with her hotel and motel management teacher, better than pretty much every teacher she'd already had up to that point. One day, the teacher goes to the centre's dean's office and walks in on a paper shredding session. It turned out that there was some pretty major embezzling happening at the centre, as in more than 60% of the funds for the centre were being stolen. The teacher was appalled, and despite some rather lucrative offers made, refused to join in on these acts. Less than a week later, the teacher was fired for trumped up reasons. This was especially bad given the teacher was only 2 years away from retiring, and being fired lost their retirement package. Needless to say, my sister was pissed. Knowing how things typically work and that almost any report she tried to make would be swept under the rug if it was taken seriously at all, she came up with a plan and took things nuclear. Over the next month or two, my sister managed to gather some basic evidence of the embezzling. Nothing concrete, but enough to warrant considerable investigation by the authorities. She took the little evidence she was able to gather, along with the story of what happened to her teacher, and sent the information in an email to the Jobs Corps Regional Director. Now, like I said, she knew that her email would likely be ignored, or the events swept under the rug, so she got smart. The email was CC'd to every single major person in the Jobs Corps chain of command, all the way up to the National Director, as well as to anyone even tangentially related to the Jobs Corps in the upper echelons of Department of Labour, and every member of Congress, as well as the US President's office. Remember, this was a government-run program. All in all, the email was sent to over 2,000 people. Basically, she not only sent the report, but sent it in such a way that everyone who got it could also see everyone else who got it, and she sent it to way more people than would be needed to ensure the issue couldn't be swept under the rug. 2 weeks later, after the investigation finished, never seen the government work so fast on anything that wasn't collecting owed taxes. Only 5 or 6 staff members, out of the 20th that worked in the centre, still had their jobs, and at least 5 of the ones fired, including the dean, were facing major criminal charges, with the rest facing minor charges. I'm not sure of the exact figure on how much was stolen, but it was well into the 7 digits. The embezzling had been happening for years. The teacher got a very nice severance package post-investigation if I remember correctly. It was the 3 year of pay, her full retirement package, and signing an NDA. Though she didn't get her job back and my sister was given her completion certificate, despite not having finished the requirements of the course, they wanted her gone, but couldn't kick her out. Wow, a round of applause for OP's sister. That's an amazing revenge and some really good justice happening. You would have to have nerves of steel to send that kind of email from your personal email account. Vengeance and justice with one hand. Apologies, I had originally posted this to ProRevenge, but I'd forgotten about the no felony rule, so I deleted it and I'm reposting it here. Also, someone with ability should probably make a World War II revenge. Been really wanting to post to this, but unfortunately I myself never exacted revenge, at least nothing worth posting. But this, I think this may be worth sharing. TLDR at the bottom. And a warning, contains a story about a Holocaust survivor. This happened to my dad's great-grand-uncle. I'll just call him Uncle. NuclearRevenge doesn't want acronyms. I never knew him. He died in 1998 when I was around 5. My dad didn't know him very well either. He was kind of reclusive. Uncle was a Holocaust survivor, but he never really talked about it. He never gave a testimony, never collected reparations, never went back to his homeland, Ukraine, never sought out if his friends or family survived. He just moved to the US, met with his family he had there and started over. Got married, had kids, all the while never saying much other than, I was there. The only reason we know any details about this is because one night one of his sons got him drunk and he spilled a whole terrible story. Later the son found out that the mother knew a fair amount too. She had fled her native land, I think it was Czechoslovakia, just as it was being invaded, so she understood to an extent. But after that, he refused to say anything more. The son had been spending the past few years trying to figure out more from records and such. I don't know too many details unfortunately, I only met the son once, and I can't remember his name at all. Uncle was at a concentration camp. We're not sure which, but I think his son said it wasn't Dachau, but don't quote me on that. He was in his late 20s. Not more than a day after he got off the train, an officer pulled him aside from the working line and began berating him about being lazy. He then said he needed to be made an example of so the others wouldn't slack off. He took out a cutlass and chopped off Uncle's left hand. The officer told him to get back to work and walked away laughing, while Uncle bled out in the snow. The others tried to nurse him and keep him healthy as they could, but his wound still got infected and he was sick and slow a lot. Luckily, the others picked up his work and helped him as much as they could. Apparently Uncle had said that he made peace with the fact he was going to die there and be fed to the dogs. The officer continued to harass Uncle. He looked for any excuse to beat and demean him. It's a wonder he didn't just shoot him. He took away his food, his shoes, had dogs attack him, made him do tasks that required 2 hands, etc. When the camp was liberated, Uncle went up to Soldier and asked if they had captured any officers. He said they did. He asked if they caught the officer that had tormented him, which he said while he showed the soldier his stump wrapped in soiled bandages. The soldier brought the officer to him, handcuffed, and had him on his knees. Uncle then, with soldiers around him, proceeded to choke the life out of the officer with his remaining hand. Evidently, it took quite a while, and apparently one of the soldiers offered Uncle their gun, but he stuck with slowly but surely choking the life out of the man that took his hand and tormented him and countless others. Afterwards, Uncle got a wooden hand, moved to America, got married, and had kids. All the while, whenever someone saw his tattoo or asked him about the war or the camps, he just showed him his wooden hand and said, "I was there, I don't want to go back." I can't imagine the kind of PTSD he must have had from that experience. I can't imagine the pain and trauma it caused him. I doubt he ever got any real help either. It seems like he just took it all to the grave. But things like that shouldn't be forgotten, no matter how painful. They should be remembered, so we as people never allow something like that to happen again. I hope he was at least at peace with himself, and he enjoyed the life he made after that ordeal. Wow, I can't imagine going through that either. And here's the thing, I watch a lot of true crime shows, and I know that strangling a person with 2 hands takes a lot of energy and roughly 5 minutes. Doing it with 1 hand? That would take a lot of strength and determination. And I'm happy he got his revenge. Animal abuser gets sent to the hospital. The background. I work at a marine biology centre in Florida. It was sometime in June, and I was with some other employees and a couple of visitors. We were exhibiting some of the animals we recently rescued. There was a turtle who had been hit by a propeller, a shark who'd been cut by another animal, and I was taking care of a stingray who was recovering from being beached in a storm. Enter our animal abuser. This man in about his 30s was in the centre visiting with his wife and kids. He was yelling at them about some toy, and with the wife being strict with the kids. He had a typical wife beater look. So they let their kids look around at the turtle, and the mum is on her phone. The guy walks up to me and says, "What you got there?" I say, "We rescued a stingray who was beached during a storm," which is followed by a laugh as he says, "How dumb does a fish gotta be to beach itself?" I don't really respond to the comment and just say, "Her name's Lucy." He takes a look at Lucy and starts calling her ugly. I don't get what this guy's problem is, but I just keep my comments to myself. He gets too close to the ray though and touches its face. Bad move. The stingray jumps and splashes the guy with water. I laugh, which is stopped by his death stare. "You little witch," the man says as he punches Lucy right in the face. She is obviously startled by this and swims to the other side of the container. I was furious by now and said, "Hey, what's the matter with you? Punching an innocent animal?" He replies with, "That stupid jerk had it coming." Instead of security taking him out, I figured I'd take matters into my own hands. Now, I know this wasn't the best decision, but as I was battling my conscience, I glanced over at the man as he's yelling at his kids again. I figure he deserves this. Okay, so the revenge has a lot of factors: luck, deviousness, and my stupid co-worker. My co-worker was new, and he helped me with the stingray. He didn't realise that some stingrays have not 1, but 2 spines to sting with and only got 1. So today he was greeted by me scolding him. I figured I was going to remove the second spine soon, but then I was distracted by this a-hole who was yelling at his kids. I didn't really forget at this point, it was my key to the revenge. I told the man to come over for a second and he came over. I pointed at something on the ceiling as a distraction, then got Lucy to come over closer to the guy. With one swift movement, I tripped and pushed the guy into the container, causing water to go everywhere and Lucy to freak out. As all the pieces miraculously fell into place, Lucy whipped her tail at the man and sliced him right across his back. For those who don't know, a stingray can easily slice through clothes. She did, and the man was instantly screaming. The wife looked from her phone, and the kid's eyes darted over as well. There was a bloody panic as the man was on the floor wincing with pain, blood all over, a screaming wife and bawling kids. and panic from the employees. The paramedics were called, and the guy jumped up and charged me for bumping into him. People were holding him back, and I was doing my best act to be frightened by the incident. He was rushed off. I was questioned by my boss. He believed me, and that was that. The man was in hospital for a week. He had to get the poison out and needed stitches for his back. You may not see this as nuclear, but it was. If there were complications with the paramedics arriving, he could have bled out, and he tried to sue us for almost killing him, but easily lost and was countersued for thousands of dollars. Tag on the week in the hospital, and this escalated into a great revenge. Be kind to nature, kids. What kind of person would go to a marine biology centre and punch a stingray in the nose? I can't even comprehend it, really. What an a-hole. Animal abusers really piss me off, and I'm really glad that Lucy got her revenge. Hopefully taught the guy a lesson as well, but with these people, probably not. Okay, so that's all for r/NuclearRevenge. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord, and Patreon links are in the description, and any support is greatly appreciated. And as it's Sunday, I also want to say a massive thank you to my wonderful patrons. BackwardsDDog, Tyler Miller, Jen Burton, Jens Banning, Princess Kate, Skyler A, Elizabeth Filmore, Two Chooks, and Stephen Arnowitt. Thank you all so much for your support. Mwah! That's for you, but keep it between us, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Bye!